Hi, this is Eric Martin from Board Game Geek. I'm here with Jared Miller and Sean Jacquemin from Cool Mini or Not, looking at Julien Potier's Kreo.
Yes.
Perhaps I pronounced that correctly. I'm not sure.
Sounded good.
You nailed it.
Awesome.
Yep, you got it.
All right. I only know that this game exists, having seen a post on Facebook. And
Excellent.
beyond that, I know nothing.
All right.
So, what do we have?
This is a fully cooperative game.
Okay.
And it's from Sweet Games, who also put out The Grizzled.
Yes.
Another kind of fully cooperative
This
game.
does not look anything like the Grizzled.
It's
I mean,
nothing,
this is like...
It's nothing like The Grizzled,
Yes.
but spiritually it kind of feels the same in the sense we are all going to either win or lose this game together.
Okay.
In this game, we are all Titans trying to build a perfectly balanced planet.
Okay.
And you're going to do that through following this kind of tech tree here. And we were all dealt out cards at the beginning of the game. Mm-hmm. And there's also these pools.
So we would not have this set up.
No, this is nothing like setup.
This is just
initially
mid-play.
And yeah, basically these would all be in our hands.
Okay.
All of this would be in our hands. So we're just kind of laying these out so we can talk about the progression and how it's going to look.
Okay.
But this is also a hidden information game, also kind of like the Grizzled, where we're trying to work together, but we're not exactly sure what we have.
Okay.
So what happens is we're all dealt some cards at the beginning of the game, and we all know our own cards, and we have to build this planet from there. So there's this little tree here of 4 different levels. First being the atmosphere, our comet, last being our planet.
Okay.
So the first player starts the game, obviously.
Yeah.
And they would ideally want to play the atmosphere or the comet to get the ball rolling. However, let's say we didn't have those cards. That's where these come into handy, and we got those at the beginning of the game when we did a draft.
Okay.
So there's a pool of those based on the number of people playing, and the first player pulls however many they want. They could take the whole pile if they really wanted to be greedy.
Okay.
But it's good to spread them around because, for example, let's say your first player, Sean, is starting with the Comet. Mm-hmm. He would want to pay 2 of these, if he had them, to actually give you the Comet. So on your first turn, you could lay that down.
Okay.
Right? And then from there, we have to kind of all guess. Well, let's hope that the first player has either a comet or an atmosphere.
Right.
And then we will choose what color element. These elements are how we unlock these things to go to the next level.
Okay.
Each one has a cost to them, like
Yeah.
a certain cost in elements for them to be completed. So the trick about it is that each round, we each choose which card we're going to play at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they get played out in order from the star player
Yes.
going around. So,
Okay.
for example, if we have played the Comet out, another use of these gems is communication. And I may spend 1 gem to show the next player in line 1 card, and I may show you this yellow element card, and what that'll tell you is that the card I'm going to play is the yellow element card. So instead of you choosing that as your card to play, you may choose to play the green one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a good balance of hidden information, but there's a way you can kind of sneak some in a little bit.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Well, it's learning how to use the
Yes.
gems to your advantage to manipulate the cards in a way that is going to get us through these different steps of developing the planet to get down to the planet itself.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
as we build these, you can have 2 choices. So say we build the comet, we can go to the mountain or rainbow. We then do that same process. We build the mountain, we can go to the tree or the bird. In this case, we've done both of them because to get to this planet, on that third one, we need at least 2 of these to go
Okay.
down to the planet.
Okay.
However, you're not done when you get to the planet because you see you have a cost of each element. So to create the perfectly balanced planet, you would need to get 1 of each element onto this card.
Okay.
But there's levels. So if you don't get any on there, you just haven't made the planet. You've made a terrible planet.
Yeah.
There's no balance
It's
to
a
it.
That is
dead
devoid
stone,
of
Right,
like
it's just this
floating in
thing. You go,
space.
oh,
Yeah.
great.
Okay.
We just threw birds and mountains and trees into space, and we didn't do much with it.
Okay.
If you get 1, it's not going to survive. But as you go up those levels, like at a 3, you're going to have a decent planet. It's probably going to survive, but it's not the perfect one you're trying to create.
Okay.
And at 4, obviously, it's the best. So there's kind of some levels there. So it's like you're not completely out. You got to
There are
want a little
levels of
bit.
success.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So we're playing cards. We have hands, and the cards are both these and these.
Yes.
Right.
Mixed of that.
And also these.
And these
in
aggression
fact, yeah.
cards we haven't got to yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're laying down the comet, but then we also have to lay down these elements to
Yes.
activate the comet, or then play on subsequently from that.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So if we were just to act this out in a perfect turn, like let's say you had laid this one down and then we laid these cards down,
Right.
you would reveal yours, and then in turn I would reveal mine, and I would put that just under yours up there, and then he revealed his.
And that would go
And once
there.
that's done, and then
Once
if
that's done-
someone had the mountain after that,
right,
or,
exactly.
or rainbow.
Now, in another case, if I had mistakenly, for some reason, thought that this would be a useful card,
Yes.
I might have chosen to play it, and it might just not have a home. In which case, it
Just
would be
goes away,
discarded. Yeah.
and you kind of wasted that energy. And everyone will always have one of these trackers, so you always know what elements might be possible and what might be needed for the nature card that could be played in the future.
Okay.
As you get down further, you kind of start to recognize, oh, this is kind of maybe where we're going. But you are going to hit those times where someone just maybe doubles up on an element on something, and that card is just
Or that's
gone.
all they have.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
that's what
That
you're
happens.
doing. Okay.
And there is other ways. We touched on spending 1 to reveal secretly to one person. We touched on the second, spending 2
Right.
to exchange. But you can also spend 3 to actually exchange a card in your hand with one in the discard pile.
Okay.
But getting 3 is actually kind of difficult because a lot of times people are kind of spinning those to help just get through the rounds.
Grease the wheels
Right,
of communication,
exactly.
which is
And,
quite
there-
necessary.
and when you do play the nature cards, just for you laying that down, you would have got another bonus token. And so there are ways to get them after the initial draft, but it's
Okay.
still a very limited resource. That's
Okay.
very important to success. And then
All right.
those
Yes,
aggression
aggression.
cards.
Yeah, aggression. So aggression cards are nasty cards that are going to exist in your hand, and you can't play them on the first turn, and you can't play them on the last turn. So you're going to have to work them out at some point.
Yes.
You can't end the game with them in your hand.
Okay.
And there are things like the Thunderbolts, which are going to remove one element card from an uncompleted nature card.
Yeah.
And there is the Storm of Uranus, which is going to remove all of the element cards from uncompleted nature
Yes.
cards. So there are things like that that are just, they could possibly come out at a certain time and not be a big problem
Right.
for you,
Okay.
but they could come out at a time when they could really wreck your
Yeah.
plan. So even when those come out is tricky and key, and being able to communicate, hey, I'm going to play this card this round, hopefully you can complete this before I put this out here. That's the kind of communication that you got to
Exactly.
get out there.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
Yeah, that's the basics of Kreo.
All right. Here we go. Thanks for the overview.
You're welcome.